Better late than never, better late than never, forever hard to measure. I might see my future fall away, but you control time, so my future do what you say. I'm super excited to have this conversation with you. I've been watching you from afar in terms of you creating content, but and you've been somebody that's inspired me. And so what I've really started was what I call better late than never. You know me well enough, like I'm a career coach by trade, but I've realized like one of the common challenges helping people in their careers, it's not exclusive just to, their careers and their dreams. There's a lot of like barriers. Some of those barriers are mental. Some of them are ones where they lack confidence. Some of it is like sort of lack of self-belief and things of that nature. So I like the theme of better late than never, man, where it's never too late to be the best version of you. It's never too late to like go face to face with your pain points and your past trauma and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Behind this convo, before we get there, bro, I want to give some flowers and I want to introduce Chauncey to the world, man. Flowers, bro, you're my big dog, man. You and Matt
Wow.
folks that I really look up to. I really appreciate you being a man that loves your wife, that serves and loves your kids. Because even though we don't chop it up often, I'm still checking in, or you're still in my heart, my mind, bro. So I appreciate you just being a man of God, man. I just wanted to say that publicly.
I appreciate that, Q.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
But
Yeah, man.
who is Chauncey, man? Who is Chauncey Julius? Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, man, Chauncey Julius, I'm first off, man, I'm a bond servant, man. I'm a follower of Christ. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. That means I'm forgiven, and so I'm a father of two. I have a 16-year-old daughter. She's just finishing up her junior year in high school, and I have an 11-year-old son. Our sons, they played on the same team once upon a time, basketball. He plays basketball, so he's finishing up the sixth grade in middle school, actually finishing up his first year of public school. And so he had been in private school all of his life, and so it was a transition for him. I'm a husband of one. I have a wife, Carrie. We've been married. It'll be 21 years this coming July.
Wow.
21 years. And so, man, it's been a journey. Our marriage has been, full of ups and downs, but we are still together. We're still loving one another. And man, we're enjoying the journey. Um, I'm a vet. I'm a combat vet. I did 3 tours in Iraq, all in Iraq, not Afghanistan, all combat tours in Iraq. I served a little over 13 years in the U.S. Army, and I try to bring those experiences into what I do, which is, you know, from my pie slice of the world, attempt to eradicate fatherlessness. That's my BHAG. That's what I do. That's my passion, and that's why I believe that God put me here. That's my purpose, and so that's a little bit about me. A little bit of Army, a lot of family. I serve at my local church. Motivation, shout out to Motivation RVA. Yeah, man, I just love serving and love giving value and adding value. I'm a podcaster as well. I guess I could have included that in there. I have a podcast. I'm lazy on the audio side, and so if you go to Spotify, you probably won't hear much podcast or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to audio podcasts. But I'm heavy on YouTube. And so that's my focus right now from everything that I'm reading and listening to. They said just go hard on one platform. And so that's my primary focus as of now, man. And yeah, want to give value to fathers, namely teen dads. It's an overlooked population. And we want to help them grow and show up as and be the best dads that they could possibly be.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I love that. There's so many different buckets, man, that I want to get into. So I really want to plant the seed for like multiple convos, man.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was like, man, I want to connect with Chauncey with is like this purpose piece, because you have a model of consistency when it comes to Pop Talk as a podcast, as your platform.
and you have eradicate fatherlessness as like
Yeah.
the sort of point of emphasis. And so for me, man, I love purpose driven work. I know I forget the gentleman's name who has the slogan of purpose driven life. But like
Yeah.
that kind of inspired me early in my faith.
Was
And so,
that Rick?
yep, Rick
Rick
Warren.
Warren. Rick Warren. Yeah.
Living Life, man. Really great book. And I'm not a huge reader, so for me to pick up that book early in my faith journey, it was nothing but God. But I say
You're
that
not a big reader?
I'm not, bro.
Man, that's man, that's news to me because you strike me as a reader. You strike me as one who consumes tons of books, and you're just so knowledgeable and intelligent, brother. That's news. That's cool though.
That it's funny because I think what happens, so I've written 8 books at this point, but what happens for
Easy.
people like me is like I need to in order for me to be effective in my calling, I need to consume things, right? So I read not for enjoyment, I read for intention and purpose, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of maybe a difference of people that like I see you as an intellect. I see you as,
Oh wow.
a hip hop nerd, bro. Like you love consuming content, and I say that with all the love and respect. So I'm
Mhm.
not just gonna pick up a book just to be like, this looks dope. I have to be like, all right, what are we gonna do with this joint? That's kind of my
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
digress.
I can respect it.
Um, tell me, I would love to talk, man, about Pop Talk and
Yeah.
your organization. Is it shepherding? What is the name of your LLC as well?
So the LLC is Family Shepherds LLC,
Shepherd.
and the Pop Talk podcast is one of the platforms that fall underneath that Family Shepherds umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's go there a little bit, man. I love purpose. I love
Hmm.
like for us to really be hyper focused on like our unique calling. Can you tell me a little bit about like how did this come to pass? Like where did this motivation come for you to really focus in on fatherhood and equipping, folks in our community with the knowledge and education about this?
Well, it started way back in. It's like, no, I'm joking. Well, I think it was around 2013, 2014. And my family and I, we were living in Oklahoma City at the time. And I was serving at a nonprofit, Shiloh Camp. Shout out to Shiloh. The executive director over there is Stephen Moore. And John Sowers wrote a book called Fatherless Generation, and he was headquarters in Oklahoma City. My executive director and I, we met up with him one time for lunch, and he kind of just vision cast. At the time, he was doing his book tour and promo tour for it, and whatnot. And just I got a copy of the book, read it, and it knocked me out my chair, man, because for the first time ever, it kind of put language around, you know, my story, which I wasn't per se fatherless. My father was there, but unaccounted for. Right.
Mm,
He just checked out, due to substance abuse. And at a time where I needed him most, my father wasn't there for me. He was in this under the same roof, living in the same house, but just wasn't there for me. And so a lot of what Dr. Sowers wrote in his book resonated with me. And then another piece to that story of what sparked this whole Pop Talk deal was, you know, um, Kerry Casey. He's considered like the godfather of the fatherhood movement. He wrote a book, Championship Fatherhood, and he came to OKC to speak at my church, Frontline, right there, smack dab in the downtown of OKC. And when he spoke, brother, I was like, oh my goodness, Lord, I feel like you're calling me to this space of, ministering to fathers and equipping fathers. And so I left Oklahoma City. I resigned and left Oklahoma City with the intentions of starting a ministry,
okay.
starting a ministry. And we left for Tennessee. And, it was hard getting traction. I met with community leaders, but it was really hard getting traction there in Tennessee. And so the Lord just kind of slowed me down and he said, listen, this is going to happen in phases.
Mm,
And so the first phase is you need to raise awareness about the fatherlessness crisis in America. It's not on the tip of the tongue of people, in your community. So you need to raise awareness. You need to meet with pastors, ask if they will open up their platform for you to speak on this topic for a few minutes, and have rallies. And, also you need.
So, what is the Job Success Accelerator? I'm glad you asked. The Job Success Accelerator is career readiness, it's professional skills for the real world, it's communication, teamwork, and conflict navigation. The Job Success Accelerator is built with 2 core publications, are Preparing for Job Success and Essentials for the Job Search Curriculum. It's proven content transformed into practice. This program gives participants the tools to land jobs and the skills to keep them. It prepares youth, young adults, and professionals in transition. We partner with local, state, and federally funded programs, with K-12 schools, universities, nonprofits, community-based organizations, one-stop operators, justice-involved programs, career, technical centers, and much more. The Job Success Accelerator is flexible, in-person or virtual, facilitated by us or licensed for your team to implement. So, what is the Job Success Accelerator? It's the difference between showing up for work and being ready for success.
To dive in and serve the fatherless. And so I served at a nonprofit Boys and Girls Club there in town. And I was a unit director for the teen center. And so I was working with the schools. I was at the alternative school, just serving and loving on that population, but raising awareness, because you could go a whole 48-hour news cycle and not hear anything about fatherlessness. And, we have nearly 20 million children who are going to go to bed tonight in a father absent home.
Wow.
And to me, that's a problem, man. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
But we're not hearing about it. If it was a medical epidemic, it would be all over the news, right? We wouldn't hear enough of it. But for some reason, we don't hear enough about it. And so my goal is to raise awareness. And so that's what sparked the podcast, that what sparked the YouTube channel as well. We have over 1,300 subscribers, and we're trying to get the message out there. Not only get the message out there about fatherlessness, because to me, that's kind of a focus effort. Well, that's kind of a negative focus. Let me say it like that. That's a negative focus. I want to focus on the positive. I want to focus on how I can equip fathers, right? Let's give them the necessary tools to facilitate healthy relationships with their children and with the mother of their children. And so I had a focus where I was focusing on all fathers, and then I niched down. And so now my focus and my aim is to empower teen dads, because they're an overlooked population. A lot, when you hear about teen parenting and teen pregnancy, a lot of it is aimed and centered around, and rightfully so, the mom, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's the mom who's going to raise that kid and the mom's family. But what about the teen dad?
Mm-hmm.
Who's equipping him? Who's surrounding him? Who's his support community? And so the Lord is just really giving me a heart for that community. And so my content is aimed at empowering and building up that teen dad and giving him a support team to help him navigate through, a rough season of his life, and a new season, a scary season of his life. Yeah.
Love that, bro. I really do. One of the as you were processing, one of the books that came to my mind by Dr. Darius Daniels. He has a book called Your Purpose is Calling, and that's one of those books that I think I gravitated because of the word calling. And I think that when you think about your world of work, you're talking a lot about like very missional, purpose-driven work. Some of the stuff you've done in a actual job function. You said unit director at Boys and Girls Club. I also heard you talk about being a sort of a ministry role. Those are actual functions, right? But
Right.
all of what you do is not married to a job function. So I say that to say you have a very deep and rich calling when you think about fatherhood, but also specifically drilling down to teens. And so he has a concept called unique discontentment, Dr. Darius Daniels, where your heart has this deep, passionate burn to solve a problem. So I'm hearing this, from you talking about your relationship with your father. He was there,
but
he wasn't there at the same time. So I can hear that. Can you tell me a little bit, and I'm gonna set this up a little bit. Like I can imagine, they say like our brains are not fully developed until you're about 26 years old. And so the more kind of I guess vulnerable, more malleable part of our lives is that teen time of life. You know what I'm saying? You're very
Yeah.
susceptible to what your peers say, and what people say about you. So you are really being molded. Tell me a little bit about like your experience. You talk very honestly about your experience with your father, but also your experience, but also perhaps what you see in teen fathers. Like, what are some of the challenges that they're facing in terms of maybe not being present, and what are some of the challenges that the actual teenager themselves are facing when it comes to needing a father in their life?
Wow. All right. Do we have enough time? You know, and so I guess briefly, my upbringing is pretty much the tale of two cities. I was born, or the tale of two states. I'll put it like that. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. When I was around 1 years old, my family relocated in search of jobs in Cincinnati, Ohio, and so I was raised. The early part of my childhood was in Cincinnati, Ohio, neighborhood, right? I grew up on the rough side of the tracks. Um, However, my neighborhood was rough, but where my mother sent me to school was in a affluent neighborhood, and the elementary school there was predominantly white, and so I went to school to learn. I didn't go to, I was really serious about my schooling. I loved to learn. I was a curious kid. When it came to the classroom, I just loved to absorb information and make friends. I didn't have a problem making friends. I went to school to learn. And then my mom was pregnant with my little brother, and she just wanted me around her. She served in the public school system there as well. So she brought me to her school for the sixth grade. At that time, sixth grade was included in the elementary school, and so she brought me over there, and that's where, for the first time, I realized that some people didn't come to school to learn. And so I walked to school because I went to my neighborhood school, and so man, it was just rough. I had to really, it was a really had to make a major adjustment. So I went there, and then in Cincinnati, when you finish elementary school, citywide, there's a test that's given to get into the school called Walnut Hills. I took that test and I passed that test, and I was accepted to the school Walnut Hills. It's a college prep school from 7 through 12, and I was admitted, and I went there, and it was just eye-opening. I saw my old friends from my old elementary school. Some of them was there, and it just exposed me to a lot. It exposed me to the Latin language. It was mandatory that you take Latin every year, and so was exposed to Latin, learn, love Latin, love that Roman culture. It was really cool to be exposed to that. I also was a part of a program called the Young Scholars Program, the Ohio State Young Scholars Program, where I received a scholarship to Ohio State University. However, my mom worked for General Motors. She just retired a few years ago. She worked there for 30 years. And so her job relocated her back to Tennessee, a small town called Spring Hill. And when I tell you, you go from a city the size of Cincinnati to a village, like Spring Hill, Tennessee, smack dab in the middle of nowhere, cornfields everywhere. Like it was just a slower pace of life. I was angry, man.
Mm,
I was angry. I was bitter. All my friends were in Ohio. And around this time, I'm probably around 13, 14.
mm,
And man, I was a fighter. You know, I lost interest in school. I got caught up in the streets. I'm taking all my cues from hip hop at this
yeah.
time, right? And so whatever hip hop told me to do, I did it.
Mm,
Whether it was objectify women, whether it was, sell drugs, fight, tote a pistol, whatever hip hop told me to do, I did it.
yeah.
And this is a time where my father is checking out of my life. And so, but one thing that remained constant was I went to church. And so my mom was, when we lived in Cincinnati, she drug us to church nonstop. And so it came a time where my older brother no longer wanted to go to church, and she respected that. However, I still wanted to go. I played the drums. I had a little friend group at church. There's a little girl I was chasing around at church. And so, you know, not knowing that the word that was coming over the pulpit was penetrating my heart,
Wow.
you know.
Wow.
And so I think I was around 16, 17, where I won't tell a lot of people this, but I was ordained a minister. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so I was ordained minister, certificate, the whole nine. And
Wow.
I began preaching. I preached my trial sermon, the whole nine. And I don't think I should have been elevated to that position at such a young age. Like I said, I wasn't perfect. I still had my fair share of, setbacks. However, I had a passion for the gospel. I had a passion for truth. I had a passion for Christ. And it showed, and I couldn't contain it. And so, man, I threw out all of my, I went to like a holiness, fire and brimstone type church at the time. And so, man, I threw out all my Tupac.
Oh,
I threw out all my Biggie, man. I even threw out my brother's stuff, right? And so I threw him in the trash. He is teed at me. He is heated. He's like, man, you threw out my Pac, man, my thug life. I was like, yeah, man.
It was good, family. God has called me to help people to align and maximize their calling with their purpose. And one of the ways that I do that is through writing. My first book is called Purpose Driven Work, which focuses on helping people to get unstuck in their dreams, callings, and their careers. My second book is Purpose Driven Coaching, which really focuses on helping educators, leaders, and workforce development professionals to use coaching to make an impact on individuals' lives. And then lastly, my most recent book is called On Purpose Leadership, which I wrote with my homeboy Vad Lee, which focuses on cultivating leadership for teams and organizations. You guys can purchase any one of my books on Amazon. Y'all be blessed out here, man.
I had to go. And so I was really serious. I kind of went into hiding my sophomore year. My ninth grade year, man, I finished up with a half a credit because I was just in the streets. I didn't go to school. And it was a coach that got me back in school because I wanted to play football. And some guys in the neighborhood said I couldn't play. And I was like, I can play. I'm gonna come to gym. I'm gonna come to school and I'm gonna show you. And so I went to school for gym, and I'm doing them in. I'm giving them the business, right? This is many hamburgers ago, I was way slimmer. And Coach Bullock at the time, he said, you ever thought about playing? Why don't you play? Why aren't you on the team? It's like my grades, this, that, and the third. He said, you come to school, we'll focus on your grades. I took him up on that. And so my 10th grade year, I just worked hard, man. I worked hard to bounce back academically. And that happened. And I was on the team, and I eventually became the captain. And man, I had offers to University of Tennessee and some other schools like Middle Tennessee State University, TSU, Memphis, to play football. But I had an opportunity to go to this program called Boys State.
okay.
And so I went to Boys State. I didn't know anything about it. After a week later, it's a place where they teach you how government is ran on a state, county, and local level. You write bills, you learn parliamentary procedure, the whole nine. And man, I just took to it, man, like a fish to water, and I just loved it. I ran for governor, and everybody laughed at me when I announced, because they have all these elections, like mock governor, all the way down to like city janitor or whatever like that. And so I I ran for governor, man, and I got it. I
Okay.
won. I gave a speech. Got a standing ovation. Went through primaries, won by a landslide. Went to, the big election, and I won there. And I met the governor. They elected for me to go to Boys Nation,
Okay.
and so I went to Boys Nation. I was able to meet then President Bill Clinton. Went to the White House. Man, just turned my whole life around. I got a full ride academic scholarship to Tennessee Tech University. And so
I gotta pause you, bro, because your story is one where there is a lot of very, very like rich experiences that are on the extremes, bro.
yeah,
Like I'm talking like I'm hearing ordained minister at 16, 17 years old,
Yeah.
and being a part of like running the streets. I'm also hearing
Deep in the streets. Like
levels to it, right?
yeah.
It's not surface level. We going to the depths of it. I'm
Yeah.
being involved in like public service, government programs. Like this is a lot, bro. And
Yeah,
like,
it became a point where the streets wouldn't let me be in the streets anymore. Like the old heads and like the OGs on the block was like, "What you doing out here, bro? Like, we need you on that football field. We need you. Just met the president. What are you doing?" Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, so there was this tension that I was trying to really navigate of like street cred and just being with my friends. My friends was in the streets and they was doing real things, But there was this call in my life that I was trying to honor as well. I'm doing Bible studies in school every Friday, and then probably running a pack for my brother. And so it was crazy. But then when I got that scholarship, that's when life got real.
mhm,
And so yeah, there's my life is, especially during that season, was just a life of extremes.
yeah,
Growing up in a rough neighborhood, despite my mom having a good job, having a dad who had an addiction, drug dealers in my town, they would come, "Hey, I know your father. I seen your father last night." There's a fight right there because you're trying to be funny in my mind, right?
yeah,
You're trying to be funny, and I knew that my dad was out there really bad, and he's since passed. He passed away last year, November of last year. But man, came to a point where there's a lot in there, man. I flunked out of school, of college, and I barely finished high school. I fell short by a half a credit, right? The half a credit from ninth grade came back to haunt me. And so I had to play catch up my whole high school year. I was determined to graduate with my class and I was able to walk. However, when I received that diploma, it was blank. I had to go to summer school after my 12th grade year. And I had to go back to Boise State because I was still governor. So I had to hand that off to the incoming governor. And when I returned, my school district wouldn't let me into school for summer school. And so I had to go from Columbia, Tennessee, Murray County, down to Shelby County, which is Memphis, because I had my mom's side of the family, they all lived in Memphis. So I lived with my grandma the summer of '98 and went to summer school in Memphis. And
yeah,
so, um, man, just to make a long story short, that fell through as well. I got one credit, but they shut down another class that I had to take. And so my mom was like, "What are you going to do? What do you want to do?" I was like, "I'm going to college."
yeah,
And so we packed up the car, family sedan, drove out 2.5 hours to Cookeville. And man, the dean of admission, Jim Rose, I never forget. He said, "You're short." He's like, "You're short." And I didn't have the credits. And so big faith, right? I'm just having faith in God. He said, "Listen, this is what you could do. This scholarship will be here for you. Either you go back to your high school, finish up for a semester, come back here, you start in January, or you could take the GED on Saturday." This was like on a Thursday. I said, "Sign me up for the GED."
wow,
Took the GED, blew it out the water. I was in class that Monday. And to be honest, I never felt like I fit into college. I felt like I didn't belong. People where
yeah,
I come from didn't go to college. And
yeah,
so, nor was it ever modeled for me. No one in my family had went to college. Not my mom, my dad. I didn't have uncles that were like college grads or anything. I haven't seen. We were blue collar. We were workers. And so I just felt like I was in over my head. They were speaking a language that I didn't speak. Even my friends, they come from college families, and I I just felt like I didn't belong. And so, and then I had an issue with,
I want to ask you this because I want to kind of help illustrate a little bit. Like,
yeah,
I'm hearing a lot of identity
yeah,
crisis. I'm hearing a lot of identity, like your natural God-given gifts are on full display. Like you at an early age, like you're somebody that Like they told you, no, you can't join a football team or you can't play with us. It's like, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Now, come on,
It's like
every time.
that mindset of I'm going against the grain. I'm gonna prove you wrong. So that's one value that you had. The other thing is like you are an intellect. Like you're somebody that enjoys learning. And so that was displayed early on when you was in Ohio, but also when you transitioned to Tennessee, even though you were sort of apathetic about school, like I'm about to learn the streets. Like I'm gonna learn the ins
Right.
and outs of what it means to be successful. So I say that to say like those values, I see those on display despite what's going on around you. Tell me a little bit about like that identity piece, maybe through the lens of like as you kind of think about like you talk about you come from a blue collar family.
Yeah.
College wasn't like, the vibe. Like, and what is like the identity piece shaping up for you in this season of life? And perhaps like when you look back on it, how have you like utilized that in your platform and encouraging fathers and teens
And so, like, college wasn't even in my view until probably my junior year.
of high school?
Like, it wasn't even in the cards. It wasn't even on my path, right? My career path or what have you. I didn't know what I want. My thing was I was going to join the Marines.
Okay.
My dad was a Marine, so I was going to join the Marines. And then going back to that identity piece, my dad dropped out in the 11th grade. My mom didn't complete college. She was in and out of taking college classes, but it was like the junior college. It was like, it wasn't forced to us. Like, listen, this is what you're going to do. And so it kind of surprised my family and, kind of caught my family with their pants down. I got this father who's struggling with a crack cocaine addiction. My mom is working 60 plus hours in a factory, automotive factory. This is what we do. My brother worked and he hustled. I work, hustle, play sports. Now I'm at this university.
Yeah.
Like, do I have what it takes
Mm.
to get a degree in 4 years?
Right.
Like, I'm struggling with college algebra. Like, I'm struggling. Like, math isn't my thing. Man, ace English, got A's in English, but man, I struggle in college and I struggle with discipline. And I
Mm.
think I
Oh, hey, it's you again. The one that is watching this content but ain't subscribed to the channel. Listen, I'm a YouTube embryo, but I have dreams of one day being a full-grown YouTube man. In order to get there, I need your help. Subscribe to the channel. I am trying to help people in their dreams, their callings, and careers, and to help scale that growth, all you got to do is help a brother by hitting that subscribe button. Bless your brother so I can bless others. It's that simple. Be blessed.
really had some limiting beliefs that weren't addressed in college or prior to. Um, I had to address those limiting beliefs, man. And like you said, right? Just quick, just on this call, just on this in this short time, you identified some things some strengths that I possessed, right? No one had ever really done that in
Mm.
high school for me. No one had called out the gift that I had the ability to speak and communicate and command a room. No one had called that gift out of me and helped me to cultivate that gift until I went to Boys State.
Wow.
Jim Rose, I never forget him. Shout out to Jim Rose. If you're still around, if you're still living, if you ever see this, thank you so much. I'm giving you your flowers now because he said, listen, I ran for mayor and I didn't get it. I didn't include that part of the story. I didn't get it. He said, I made sure that they didn't vote for you for mayor because you are a governor. He said, your ability to communicate is par none. I remember it like it was yesterday. And that was the first time anyone has said that to me. Not even my pastor who ordained me even called that out of me like, man, you have a gift for speaking, right? And so it wasn't identified until then. And so I go through college really not knowing that I had a gift
Mhm.
or what my gift, my special, unique gifting was. And so flunked out, went to college, and man, if I would like speak to that population that I'm trying to reach, those teenage fathers, I would say this:
Mhm.
the greatest gift, the greatest character trait, the character quality that you can possess is resilience.
Mm. Okay.
Like if you could put resilience on repeat, like that would be your cheat code for life. Your ability to bounce back, your ability to with like experience hardships and setbacks, shake it off however you got to shake it off, whether you go to therapy, whether you go to church, whether you pray, put on some worship, whatever you got to do to shake it off, go do some exercises, shake it off, bounce back, because guess what, there's greatness
That's
in
so
you despite your circumstance, despite your environment. There's greatness in you.
that's so good.
And so I would encourage them to lock into that character trait, do a word study on it, do some research papers on resilience. Man, there's a lot of good studies out there on resilience. I'm actually writing a book. I'm done with it. I just have to do the administrative work. It's called Resilience on Repeat. It's for teen dads, and man, I'm looking to release that here in about a month, actually. And so,
Yo, hold on. We not gonna we gonna let this ruminate a little bit, bro. What's the name of the book?
yeah, it's called Resilience on Repeat.
Resilient.
And
Okay.
yeah, Resilience on Repeat. And it's helping,
Publishing it?
say again,
You're self-publishing it?
self-publishing it. Yeah, man. And so I'm putting my money up,
We
and
gotta we I'm promoting this. We gotta put this out here.
that's what's up.
One of the questions I always ask towards the end is like, all right, if you were to write a book, what would it be? But you got a book written. That joint is manuscripted. So I
Yeah.
cannot wait to support it. And I want to put a quick pause because you said something that was very, very prominent. And it's the heart of like why I'm trying to communicate this message. And you talked about resilience, and your book is
Yeah.
Resilience on Repeat. And like the album that I have in this podcast is Better Late Than Never.
Yeah.
Or behind it, Chauncey,
I love that.
is that it's never too late for us to bounce back. You know,
Come on.
one of my the song that's the primary single is called Rebound, and my heart behind that is it's like, man, like simple stuff such as like our fitness and wellness. Like I've really struggled like with being overweight for 15 years, and there's a side
Mm,
effect to that. There's a cost to that, but I know that I can easily, just kind of be like, forget it, man. Like, no, you're just gonna be overweight for the rest of your life. But I don't accept that. Or there's the
right.
thought I'm gonna be underemployed. Like I don't have any gifts inside of me to where like an organization will want to hire me, or I can see myself doing my dream career, dream job. So those are just two examples of like it's never too late to rebound, right? And a lot of what you're talking about is a lot of identity challenges where at an early age, people haven't recognized your ability to command a room, to communicate. You know, I see you as a thought leader, but
Mm,
like you're my OG. So I see you as an adult who knows that about themselves. But I can imagine when you were 16, 17, 18 years old, trying to like find some sense of purpose. And in some places you got it where like in the Boy State, you running for governor. You someplace
yeah.
you saw it. Some
Yeah.
places was like in places that it's the only way that you're gonna be fruitful. The outcome is dead or in jail, right? So it's
Hmm.
kind of you have this juxtaposition, if you will. I would love for you to take me to a place where like I like that I see you as a successful entrepreneur, a successful family man, as a successful professional. Tell me a little bit about your world of work. Like, you've gone through the military. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's had a huge impact on your life. You've had multiple roles in ministry. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about your world of work where you start to operationalize like your strengths and your skills, and now you're seeing your calling on display. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. And so it was in the military where I really started tapping into. I needed something to do. Let's back up a little bit. After I flunked out of college, I wasted a full ride academic scholarship to one of the top engineering schools in the country. Um, man, I was depressed.
Yeah.
I was down. I went back to my hometown. I enrolled in the community college there, and I flunked out of it. And I'm thinking college isn't for me. So I achieved all of this success, right? I meet the president, I become governor, I go to DC, like I get a full ride academic scholarship, and then like there's the crash,
Mm,
right? NPR, American Life, they did a story on me. And so maybe we can include that. And I really talk about this time, this period. But during that crash, I'm back home, I'm working at Long John Silver, And I'm saying, Lord, is this it? Is this the end? Is this how it ends? You know, where I'm gonna be working in a fast food place all my life, and nothing against fast food employees, but I just felt like that wasn't my dream.
Yeah.
You know, I had wrote on a piece of paper the goals that I had back in ninth grade, even though I flunked ninth grade. I said I wanted to be the CEO of a major company,
Mm.
right? So life wasn't aligning up. And so I joined the military. I had met this girl by this time at this Christian sports camp when I was in college. I worked at during the summer. And I think that was the best thing to come out of my college experience was meeting my now wife,
Wow.
Carrie. And I called Carrie up and I said, listen, I'm about to go into the military. In essence, will you wait for me?
Mm.
You know, will you wait for me? She had everything going for her in her life. She was going to Liberty. You know, I didn't know nothing. I live in Virginia now, but I didn't know anything about Liberty. But
Yeah.
she, you know, student at Liberty and Liberty University. And I just wanted her in my life. You know, I never met anyone like her before. And I said, will you wait for me? So she waited for me. I joined the military. I met boot camp. 2 weeks into boot camp, my platoon guy gets fired, and our drill sergeant says, big guy in the back, you're the leader now. So I'm in charge of 75 people, right? And so as much as I tried to duck at Boise State and just fly under the radar. It's like guys saying, tag, you're
Believe,
it.
bro.
Yeah, I was called to lead. And so um, I'm leading, and I'm the only platoon guy during my cycle out of all 4 platoons that never got fired. These other platoon guys was getting
How
fired left and
can we
right.
call? Like, what was happening? What?
Like it's just bad judgment calls, like the decisions that they were making, they were late, they had personal leadership issues within themselves, and I just rose to the occasion. Everything they asked of me, I went above and beyond. um Man, I just took to it. I was like, this has to work, because I wanted to marry this girl, right? And so I was like, man, I can't get married to her and live in my auntie's basement. So this is going to work. I'm tired of failing. I'm tired of falling short, man. You
Mm.
know, missing high school by half a credit, wasting a full ride academic scholarship, man. This was a hunger pain. I was like, I felt like my back was against the wall when I joined the military back in 2000. I said, listen, this is going to work. And it did, man. I graduated basic training as the soldier of the cycle. I had generals giving me coins, man, and then I had a successful career in the army, but it all went back to really leaning on my voice and my ability to communicate. And
If you're listening to this video or watching this video, you are part of what I call the better late than never journey. And as a part of that journey, not only do I have these dope podcast interviews and these individuals from all walks of life, I also have a book that captures this, that's meant to really help all of us in our dreams, callings, and careers, and probably most importantly, to navigate those 3 things as we wrestle with our relationship with time. So it's taken me quite some time to publish this book, to really write this book and to publish it, but it's coming soon. If you look behind me, you guys can kind of see I'm working diligently behind the scenes. You all can pre-order the book now. I got more than half of the book written. My goal is to publish this book November 2026. So tap in. If you want your copy of Better Late Than Never, Overcoming Fear and Failure to be the best version of yourself, go ahead and pre-order that book. You guys can support the movement and probably most importantly, help yourselves as you live out your dreams, callings, and careers. Talk to you soon. Be blessed.
and interpersonal skills and working with people. You know, when you're in the streets, man, you learn how to read rooms, you learn how to, you know, kind of pick up on people's vibes. And I think I really got that. I'm an extrovert by nature. Um, I'm a campaigner with the Myers-Briggs personality test. I'm a ESTJ, and so like I'm a people person, man. I love being around people. I'm an extrovert, and so I just used that to my advantage when I was in. You know, I related to people. I helped soldiers even when I was in basic training. I really leaned heavily on my ability to communicate. I read a lot. You always caught me with a book back then. This is before Audible. This is before a Kindle Fire or a Kindle ebook or what have you. And I leaned on that, man, and it got me through. And I tell kids, even when I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, I told them, I said, listen, work on your ability to communicate through words, whether it's written word or orally, like work on your ability to communicate thoughts and ideas. And because it worked for me, man. Didn't have a scholarship, but I was always able to provide thanks thanks to the grace of God, a lot of help from the Almighty. But
Can I say, I want to say something because
yeah,
as a career coach, I'm always perceptive when it comes to strengths and skills. So
yeah,
you said something without actually saying it that I think was kind of like the hinge for you. Like because of the pain of like past failures, you're before enrolling in the military, you talked about working at Long John Silver's, or was it Long John Silver's?
Long John Silver. Yeah,
Shout outs to Long John Silver's.
shout out to Long John Silver. They held me
Nothing
down.
wrong with working in retail, fast food. It's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. But for you, you was like, is this it, God? Like, this cannot be it. And then on top of that, you met your queen at the time who,
yeah,
like she was just different. She was different. And you knew that this treasure would be like something you would never want to lose, right? So to me, those are like two very deep pain points where it's
yeah.
like, this can't be it. And then I can't fumble the bag with, my queen, my future queen. So I say that to say,
At all.
what I really am saying is I think what I'm hearing from you was at an early age, you identified some of your superpowers. Like it wasn't new to you to be a strong communicator. It wasn't new to you to kind of galvanize other people. It wasn't new to you to actually like work hard in sprints. However, I think what was kind of the defining moment was the discipline. Like I heard you
That
talk
piece.
about,
Come on, come on.
heard you
I,
talk about like rising to the occasion,
yeah,
but you realize like I can't stop. Like this is it for me. So you made a commitment, and it's not that you probably didn't have small failures, is that you just made a consistent commitment to
you
like
nailed it.
going, and that's just discipline right
You
there.
nailed it. You nailed it. Because what I've learned through my college experience, and I had a lot of college experience, even during the military and after the military, and I still haven't finished, right? What I learned is that college is 5% intellect,
Mm,
it's 5% smarts, and it's 95%. I used to say discipline, but it's 95% grit,
yeah.
like Angela Duckworth grit.
Mm,
Right? It's grit. It's grinding it out. It's withstanding the mundane. Right? You're just day in, day out, showing up. Right? And that was the danger for me. Like I stopped showing up. I stopped showing up to class. I just
wow.
stayed in my dorm, or I go to the computer lab and hang out all day. My friends were like, "Where were you?" Right? And so I didn't have the discipline. I didn't have the grit. And the army married up intellect. I already had the intellect. I felt like God blessed me with a degree of just smarts.
Yeah.
And the discipline came. And when that happened, man, I started seeing some exponential results, you know. And I want to like really challenge, we talk about my passion, my purpose is to like really to encourage and equip and motivate teens, but namely teen dads. And you got to have that discipline piece. You got to have that grit piece. You have to show up because they're going to naturally exclude you from conversations. They're going to
Right.
like, and who are they? They are the parents of um your girlfriends or your baby mother's parents, and
Right.
maybe even your parents, and maybe even nonprofit agencies. They're going to exclude you from decisions being made on your child's behalf, right? You have to show up. There and then there's not going to be any expectations for you,
Yeah.
right? Nobody's expecting you to do anything. Nobody's expecting you to show up. Matter of fact, they're expecting you not to show up. They're
Yeah.
expecting you to fall short. But I want to encourage them to be resilient,
Mhm.
to tap into their superpower. Mine was the gift to speak and to communicate with boldness and with purpose and with clarity and conciseness. And I would encourage them to tap into theirs as well, because at the end of the day, your child does better when you're involved. When dad is involved, when dad is actively involved, if the research is out there, children do better.
I want to add this same thought to that same equation. I will
Hmm.
also add emotional intelligence, because
Yeah, I like that.
if I'm being excluded from the equation, Chauncey, like if I know like I'm trying my best to get back on my feet, I probably have a track record of not being a great father, husband, partner, whatever this is. And I know I'm being excluded. I'm making a conscious effort of like, dang, y'all not gonna loop me in on how my kid's doing. Or
Yeah,
like I hear y'all rumbling, like I hear this stuff. I'm gonna drop kick somebody. Like I'm gonna throw it out. But I know the part of that recipe is I gotta have some emotional intelligence that
yeah,
I can't do that no more. Like that was my go-to, is my anger in the past. But perhaps like if I need to be a better version of myself, I can't respond emotionally. You
yeah.
know,
You
and
got
my
to.
emotions are valid. Like my anger is valid. Like I have the right to, but the consequence of me acting on that right is going to be more detrimental to me walking out my purpose. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. You have to develop and throw some more tools in that relational toolbox,
Yeah,
right? You just can't have a hammer because every problem isn't a hammer.
that's right.
Some problems require a wrench.
Yeah,
Some problems require a vice grip
yeah.
that was on your TV. Yeah, they probably don't even know about that back in the day. Vice grip. Some is a screwdriver, or maybe you need a tape measure, but you need some more relational tools in your toolbox. You need to learn how to listen. You need to learn how to use I statements. You need to learn how to and this is key with your baby mom. You need to learn how to communicate, and you can't crash out every time you hear something that you don't like. And so part of it is, you know, and I'm real big on this. It's one of my personal core values is self-awareness.
Yeah.
You need to know what sets you off, because here's what's true. The people that you spend the most time around, they know.
Yep.
And you may be the only one in the room that don't know. And you're being easily manipulated and easily set off, and you crashing out, when if you just took time to slow down and learn yourself, right?
Right.
I think we get further faster, but that relationship with the mother of your child, that's probably one of the most important, outside of that relationship with that child. It's probably the most important relationship that you can have here on earth, outside of your relationship with God. I believe that, you need to cultivate that relationship. I'm not saying that you need to be together with her. Maybe it's best that y'all are apart. However, you do need to cultivate a healthy environment for that child.
Yeah.
And it starts with your relationship with the mother of your child, and honoring her. You don't have to be in a relationship with her, but you can still honor her. You can still respect her. You can still model to that child what it looks like to honor women.
That's beautiful, bro. That's so good. Chauncey, I want to kind of I want to like so time is flying and I want to land
Yeah.
the plane, but I want to also interconnect some key pieces so you can help drive us home.
Okay.
One, you giving some very pragmatic interpersonal skills. You talked just now, like when it comes to your relationship with your baby mother, there's a level of respect and a level of honor that you navigate. So those are tools, those are two tools. I
Hmm.
kind of echoed a sense of emotional intelligence, self-control, things of that nature. So I want to like, that's not an exhaustive list, but that at least that's one bucket. But the other kind of thing is like your story itself. Your story is one of which where like you found your identity, you acting out in your identity because at the root cause my perhaps my father wasn't as present as I wanted him to be. So therefore, I'm trying to find my purpose in these different vehicles. Some of the vehicles was the streets, some of the
Yeah.
vehicles were government programs, some of it was sports, and probably other relationships, right? So that's one bucket. It's like the work that we do, how we sort of act out on it. And perhaps like the last bucket is
It was good, family. Better Late Than Never is more than just an album. It's a concept that is never too late for us to change our mindsets and our lifestyles. This project was exclusively produced by my homeboy, Matlock, who has produced for some of the best artists in the world, including Lil Wayne. You guys can catch this project and stream it on all platforms, including Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, you name it, it's there. As you guys tune in to Better Late Than Never, it's my prayer that this project helps you to live a purpose-driven life. Be blessed.
Like the big fat question mark. Like, all right, so how do we respond ultimately in our purpose? So I want to kind of like intersect these three, like this question mark for the outcome, how we find ourselves wrestling with our identity because of things that happened in our past, and then the short term is like these pragmatic like solutions to be the best version of ourselves. If I'm putting those three things together, what kind of advice would you give to, and this is, I don't think this, I don't want to make this exclusive to men or even men of color. Like that's my heart's
Right.
desire. But I think it's also prudent. I got that word from you, by the way. You educate me every time I talk. Prudent. It's been in my vocab heavy.
I love that word.
Yes. So in the spirit of like thinking about those three buckets, not just exclusively for men of color, but for anybody that is trying to support people to grow and be the best version of yourselves, what like advice would you give for them to like take action on that journey, man, to be the best version of themselves, knowing that there's a historical track record that they have.
Man, I would tell them to learn to stomach risk,
Mm.
and have intestinal fortitude when it comes to doing hard things,
Oh,
you
okay.
know? And so, like, men, I believe we were created to do hard things.
Yeah.
Um, my world belief is that, man was created by God in the wilderness,
Mm.
and then there was this garden created, right? And then he gave man work, he gave him a job, he was naming the animals, he was tending to the land. And then man was put to sleep, and woman was created in the garden,
Mm.
right? And
Who taught?
so and so why was man created in the wilderness and woman was created in the garden? And the answer is this, is so that we can endure hardships.
Mm.
And so we were hardwired to endure hardships. That's why men die. We die gruesome deaths, right? When a man commits suicide, it's a gruesome picture, right? And I'm not, we may need to put a disclaimer on it, so what have you. But when women, it's a softer approach, even the sports and activities that we engage in are, they're they have great risk involved with them, right? And so I would tell them they need to learn how to stomach risk. They need to learn how to line those butterflies up and put them in formation,
Mhm.
right? And do hard things. And that's one thing that I learned in my military experience. Like there was a season back in 2002, 2002, where I jumped out of planes.
Yeah.
My mama didn't raise me to jump out of no doggone plane,
Yeah.
like for real. And so I had to trust my training.
That's so
And
good.
so, man, what crucible are you putting yourself through? Maybe it's a real estate course. Maybe it's a job readiness training that you're putting yourself in. Like you have to, and I'm gonna just say this and excuse my language, but you're gonna have to suck for a season
Yeah. Yeah.
for the sake of the next 20 seasons.
Come on, man.
Right? Maybe it's a year. Like I had to go through basic training. I went through one of the hardest AITs in the Army, radar repair, where I learned
Mhm.
for a year and a half. My school was super long. People were already at their duty stations. I was still in school in the Army,
Yeah.
learning how to repair radars, learning. I had to take logic. I didn't even know what logic was. I failed algebra. I had to take
Yeah.
logic. I had to learn ones and zeros. I had to learn circuit boards. I made remote controls from scratch. Like, but this is happening in the wilderness,
Yeah.
right? Where's Chauncey? My friends didn't even know that I had joined the military, right? And then when I came out, I had this skill set. I had learned so much and I had to look at myself. It's like I went into the gym for a year and a half,
Yeah.
right? And I came out developed in all these different areas. I learned how to talk to authority, right? I learned how to operate within a corporate team.
Yeah.
I learned how to problem solve. I learned how to better communicate, not just in my jargon, right? Just not, but I learned how to, and so this may be a bad word for some people, but I even learned how to code switch,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I learned how to communicate with generals and colonels when I was just a private.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it helped me to develop a skill set that I could go into any room, even if I was afraid, take that risk, make that call to action, if you will. And it really stemmed from this right here. The pain to stay the same was greater than the pain to change.
Okay, say that again, bro. Say it again.
All right. The pain to stay the same was greater than the pain to change.
Wow. Mm.
Like to stay at Long John Silver, for me, that pain was unbearable
Mm. Yeah.
because I knew I had potential. I've seen a glimpse,
Mm-hmm.
right, of what could be,
Right.
right? And that's where vision is birthed out of.
Yeah.
What could be.
What could be.
I see what is, but there can be another. And my wife and I, when we got married, we joked about it all the time. It was like, man, it's two worlds coming together. And she showed me another way. And that's how I felt when I got that glimpse of, being brought onto the football team, when I got that full ride academic scholarship, when I met the president, when I was seeing glimpses of what could be. And so going back home, returning home, working at Long John Silver, that just created this fire on the inside. So I joined the military, man, and the military taught me discipline. It taught me how to take calculated risks, have risk management, but at the same time, that risk wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, like, not just men, not just women, but all of us, it's a human trait where we want to protect ourselves. That's just human nature, where we want to preserve. We want to, what is it, self-preservation. That's just part of the human nature. And I think we need to be comfortable with stepping outside of our comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and taking huge risks. It may be in business, it may be returning back to school, it may be asking for a promotion or going up and applying for that next position. But I lean heavily on my ability to communicate. That is my superpower, and it has gotten me into doors, along with the grace of God, that I never thought I would walk through.
That's so good, bro.
But I wasn't afraid to walk through them, despite my many shortcomings, despite my many failures. I had to push that button called repeat. Push that button called resilience, and man, just walk through those doors and believe that I belonged in the room.
Mm. Amen. Chauncey, I don't know if I told you this, bro, but we were doing small group. I don't know if it was either right before COVID or after COVID, but you left an impression as we were all sharing. I think Matlock was there too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you was like, you said something about when God gives you a vision for your life, he makes it so overwhelming that you can't do it by yourself. And that stuck with me. I was like, what is bro talking about? But that stuck with me. And you said something just now that connected pieces as to why, like, I'm so driven to have these convos is because like God gives us all vision, right?
Yeah.
And we can have a level of success by like just thugging it out, like solo dolo, by taking action. We will have success, but it's going to be limited. But you made a really point of emphasis that kind of interconnect kind of like my world of purpose, which is helping people to align and maximize their calling with the purpose, which is very work centric, to your purpose, which is dealing with systemic fatherhood and identity crisis
Yeah.
issues. I see the interconnection between our callings. And so I just want to echo that phrase that you talked about, which is like it's three things I want to echo. One, when God gives you vision, he's gonna make it so big that you can't do it solo dolo. You
Real
need help.
talk.
And
Yeah.
the second thing is like for us in particular as men, we're created to be to sharpen our iron in the wilderness. Where like even in the Bible, Jesus goes into the wilderness to reflect and to be poured in and be renewed by Father God. But for us, more on a pragmatic sense, like if you didn't you made a conscious decision after Long John Silver to be like, look, I'm going to the military. And nobody knows what's happening. And while I'm in the military, I'm kind of out here. Yes, I'm surrounded by people, but I'm sharpening my skills and I'm learning like the tools, interpersonal tools to be a better version of myself. And that's that wilderness season. And I think perhaps like the third point is I love the idea of resilience, but it's I think we have to understand resilience through the lens of it's like we're gonna fail, Like, and
Yeah.
it's okay to fail, trying to normalize imperfection. We are very limited, fragile, finite creatures, but you're emphasizing, okay, it is what it is. I'm imperfect, but I'm going to try my best to after I fail, fumble the bag, I'm gonna step up again. All right, I failed
Yeah.
again. I'm gonna be resilient. I'm gonna try better this time. I'm gonna do better. So those are the three things I really want to echo. It's like that vision piece, not being solo dolo, the going to the wilderness to sharpen your tools, to be equipped, because I really resonate with that from a career standpoint. And then third, that resiliency piece, man. So I really appreciate you.
That resilience is and it stems from scripture, right? Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 24:18. It says this, it says a righteous man falls 7 times. And
Yeah,
then here's the part that where resilience come in and rises again.
yeah, yeah.
You keep getting back up.
And again,
It ain't about you falling. You're going to fall. Like you said, the fall is going to happen. Trust me. I done failed in so many different areas of my life. It ain't funny,
yeah.
right? Um, it's the getting back up. It's the audacity to get back up. You mean to tell me this brother got back up? He got back up
Got back up.
again.
Yeah.
I love that word again in that scripture, man. And so, man, we have to have vision for our life, and it's just not going. The red carpet of vision isn't going to roll out for you, man. And
Yeah.
it's not linear. It's
Yeah.
it's it's all over the place, bro. Like
Yeah.
you got to bounce back in so many ways. I love this quote by Andy Stanley. I wish I said it. I'm gonna give Andy Stanley the credit, and after this time, I'm stealing it. He says that God gives you vision, and whatever God can originate, He can orchestrate.
Say that again. Say it again.
He said God gives you vision. He wrote this in his book Visioneering, and he said whatever God can originate
Mhm.
in you, whatever vision that he can birth inside of your heart, whatever he can originate it. But not only can he originate it in your heart and create it in your heart, he can orchestrate it.
That's so good.
Think of a conductor in front of an orchestra,
Yeah.
right? And he's controlling the woodwinds, the brass section, the percussion, right? And it's all coming together beautifully, you know,
Mhm.
making this melodic sound. And that's what he's doing with the vision inside of you. It's this area and this area over here. He's bringing it together. It seems like it's a clash, but when they mesh, it's beautiful. And it's God doing the orchestrating. So don't give too much. Don't even worry about how it's going to come together. He's going to orchestrate it.
That's so good.
Right? He's going to orchestrate it. Whatever he can originate inside of your heart, he can orchestrate it. And he's so into the details, it's not even funny. He's working behind the scenes to bring it about on your behalf. And so, man, that's something that always encourages me that, man, Lord, you called me to this. So I know that you're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Yeah.
Mm, Bro, too many gems, bro, in this session, man. We got to land this plane.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I know you gotta
my
you gotta record. I mean, you gotta edit.
yeah, yeah. Look, man, I'm gonna send this joint to you, but this is gonna be a dope. This is gonna be a blessing to whoever consumes it. But also, I'm writing a Better Late Than Never book. So in some shape or fashion, this
Hey.
conversation is gonna be incorporated into it because you gave so many gems, bro. I want to say I guess I want to kind of land the plane with this. One,
Hmm.
where can people order the book?
Absolutely.
Tell us about
Yeah.
in your podcast,
And
bro.
so they're going to be able to order the book um on chauncey.speaks.com. That's my website. And so just go to chauncey.speaks.com. That's where you can find everything about me. You can find my socials. You can find everything. I'm on IG, Team Julius 3000, also pop underscore talk podcast on IG. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Pop Talk Pop Podcast. Um, and man, that's where I am. And I'm courageously showing up every day. Sometimes people click on the video, other days they got something better to do. And so it's all good, man. You got to keep showing up.
For sure, man. Chauncey, you've been a model of consistency, bro. And you've been an inspiration to me to just not worry about the metrics, just one day at a time, be consistent, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you, man. I'm
yeah,
looking
I
for,
appreciate you. Thanks for the opportunity.
yeah, man. And thank you on a personal tip, bro. Just being a man that loves his wife, that loves and serves his kids, because it's not perfect. People don't know behind the scenes how the sausage is made. So I just
Yeah,
appreciate you, man of God, bro. Being who you are, showing up.
appreciate that. Appreciate that, fam. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for diving into space and just the way that you go about your vocation, the way you go about um, your career is, man, it's so inspiring, bro. Your attention to detail, your focus, your ability to experience obstacles and keep going through them, is dope. Your ability to put together a team, and because I'm a firm believer, and if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you need a team. And you've really done an amazing job just sitting back, looking, observing from afar, how you're moving. I love the way you move, brother. It's an inspiration.
I appreciate it. Glory to God, man. Glory to
Yeah.
God.
Better late than never, better late than never, forever hard to measure. I might see my future fall away, but you control time, so my future do what you say.